We have done our previous chapter that was about Rameswara Rao. We have done some of the question part. We are left with most of the questions that will be uploaded you on time. So we will start with the next part of this chapter, compassionate souls. So what is this? This is the part, and we have to read it. So read it yourself. Read the following article by P.P. Wangchuk. So this extract was written by P.P. Wangchuk, and this is about 4 shades of human beings, that there are 4 types of human beings. So let's read it. Human beings, according to the Buddha, can be categorized into 4 types: those who work for their own good but not for others. So here this chapter is based on the categories mentioned by Buddha. Buddha, Mahatma Buddha. So that according to Buddha, that humans have 4 shades. So this chapter is based on those shades. So he's telling us, Wangchuk is telling us that what are those 4 shades mentioned by Buddha. So first is those who work for their own good but not for others. For those people who just work for themselves, who are not bothered about others. So that is one part. And next is those who work for others but not for their own good. And there are some people who work for others, for the goodness of others, but not for themselves. They are not working for themselves. They are not bothered about themselves. They used to work for others. And the third is those who work neither for themselves nor for others. And there are some of the people who don't work at all, not for themselves, not for others, who are just just living the life. And those who work for their own good as well as for others. And there are some people who work for themselves also and for the goodness of the other people. So these are the 4 shades of human beings according to Buddha. That Buddha has mentioned that there are 4 shades of human beings. So let's read out about the first one. The first type are those ones who strive for the abolition of greed and hatred in themselves but do not care whether others follow them. So the first type is that that those people who strive means who work for the abolition, for the ending of, for the demolish of greed and hatred in themselves. So there are those people who work on themselves, who improvise themselves, who get rid of greed and hatred in themselves, and they're not worried about that whether other people are following them or not. They are just cleansing themselves. They are just working on the goodness of themselves. They are just making themselves a good human being, and they're not even bothered that others are following them or not. Persons in the second category work for the good of all but care nothing for their own growth. And the second category belongs to those people who used to work for the goodness of other people, who used to think about other people's, but they are not worried about themselves. They are not bothered about themselves. That is also not a good thing. If you are doing something good for others, you must there is a proverb you have listened that charity begins from house. Charity begins from the house. So obviously you should start working for your own betterment, then you should think about others. But this second category does not like so. They used to think about others but not for themselves. Then the third type shows the least care for self as well as for the other. So the third people are those who are not bothered about themselves, who are not bothered about the others as well. They're just living the life. They're just hankering behind money. They're just having a life. They are not worried. They are not cared, or they are not bothered about the goodness of themselves as well as for the others. And the fourth are exactly the opposite of the third. And the fourth category is exactly the opposite of the third one. So they do not only strive, they do not only work for themselves but the growth, but are they not only strive for their own spiritual growth but are also very keen to let others like the Buddha. Let others to bloom like the Buddha. So the fourth category belongs to those people who are not working for betterment of themselves but also for the betterment of the others. So here what kind of a thing is talked about by Buddha, that what kind of a work? That work is of to cleansing yourself, cleansing your souls, enlightening yourself, because everybody is doing something for the living. We are doing jobs, we are studying, we are doing everything for have a better life, but to cleanse ourselves, but to have a enlightenment in our souls, that is the biggest thing. We all know what is good, what is wrong, but we do not follow it. We know very well what should be good and what should be bad, but we are not going to follow it. We do not follow it. And sometimes we think that that it is not possible to follow it in real life. That is the biggest challenge. If you accept it and if you cleanse yourself from those goodness or from evil kind of qualities in you, then you will be a good human being. And if you are doing it on yourself as well as to others, then you will be an ideal citizen. So let's see what happens next. The first and the third types are the worst one, not fit to be called human beings. So according to Buddha, Buddha is saying the first category and the third category. First category is the one who is just thinking about themselves, not the others, and they are not worried that others are following them or not. And the third quality is which he is not worried about themselves or not for the others. So these two qualities are very worst, and they are not able to call human beings. Why? Because the Buddha says those who work for their own selfish interest at the expense of others are no better than animals who have only limited intelligence to live for mere survival. So according to Buddha, he says that the first category, who is just working for themselves, not bothered about the others, or not bothered about their following others or not. So they are the meanest, they are the selfish one. If you just think about yourself that yes, I want that, I must have that thing, I must have this thing, I must have this luxury, I must have this comfort. If you're not thinking about other people, you are just exploiting their rights, you are just exploiting other people's rights or other people's comforts or luxuries just to provide yourself with all those things, then you are doing the meanest thing, then you are the selfish one. And if you are selfish, then you are not better than a human, than animals. Buddha is saying that animals are better than those kind of human beings, and they are having only limited intelligence. They are just living for just a survival, that they have to survive here. Okay, so he is saying that according to Buddha, that one shade, that first shade of the human being, that is very worst. So we should not like the first shade of human being. We should not like those people who just think about themselves, who are not worried about other people, who are just exploiting other people just to get comforts and luxuries of themselves, who are just the meanest and selfish kind of a people. So we should not be like them. Okay. Then the second part, the second type may be good, but they cannot be described as idle human beings. One who does not take care of one's own self is not likely to take much interest in others. We should keep ourselves in good humor in order to serve others and to be blessed and happy forever. So second type, I have told you that second type of human beings are those who work for others, who think for others, but not for own self. So if you are not thinking about yourself, if you are not happy, you are sad with your life, you cannot help others. If you are happy, if you are satisfied with your life, then only you can help others, then only you can think about the goodness of others. If you yourself is happy, if you yourself is at peace. So Buddha is saying that that person cannot be categorized as an idle person or idle human being, because they are not thinking about themselves. If they are not thinking about themselves, if they are not able to think about themselves, how they can be able to think about the goodness or the wellness of others? So if you really want to do charity, you have to start from your home, you have to start from yourself, with yourself. So first try to do some good to yourself, be happy, be nice, be at peace. Only then you will be able to think about others' happiness, think about others' peace. So that should be done. We should keep ourselves good humor. So yes, Buddha is saying that we should keep ourselves in good humor, we should be blessed. Only then we can make other people's life blessed and happy forever. An ideal human being is one who falls into the fourth category, takes a holistic outlook. So according to Buddha, Buddha is saying that the fourth category of human beings, that is called the ideal one, and that takes a holistic look. Holistic means inclusive of the whole, which which include all the things, which is kind of a conclusion of all those things. That is called holistic. So this is a holistic approach that you must follow the fourth category of human being, who is thinking about themselves also and for the rest of the people. Okay, so till here we are going to read it. Just to read this till here, this is easy to understand. You can read it again and you can read further so that we can have a better understanding. Okay.